In the current day, portable gaming might just seem a bit meh, but back in the 90s, the Game Boy was like something out of a sci-fi movie. Seeing you through countless car journeys, gaming on the go had never been so accessible. With some of the very best video game packaging to date, and a wealth of memories for 90s kids around the globe, the Game Boy has truly earned its place in video game history. In at 10, Alleyway. Alleyway was a launch title for the Game Boy, but don't think its basic bitch mechanics make it any less of a game. Hell, it came with Mario's approval. Blasting through blocks like a home renovation project, this is one of those games that seem to sneak into just about everyone's 5-cart collection. But hell, it earned its place. In at 9, Double Dragon. This is a game that I played more in the arcades, but when it comes to a faithful 8-bit port, the GB had you more than covered. If you squint, you might even think you're back on the cabinets. Great music and ass-kicking action are on the menu, as you play one of the early beat-em-up goats. In at 8, Jurassic Park. Back in the 90s, just about every half-successful movie got a video game spin-off, and Jurassic Park was no different. I have fond memories of the top-down view from this game. It was essentially a souped-up Easter egg hunt. But don't think this one was for kids. If you copped a glimpse of one of the bigger dinos, you'd be shitting bricks. In at 7, Wario Blast. The 90s was a time when your video game choices were based on cover art alone, and Wario Blast is a great example of that. You expected more platforming goodness, but instead, you got a Wario and Bomberman mashup for the ages. I can't say this was a genre I had any interest in, but by the end of it, I was a fan. In at 6, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. Mario was, and is the poster boy for Nintendo, and this was his first sequel on a portable system. It took everything that was great about that original and evolved it. Golden coins really showed what was possible on an 8-bit system, with detail added in every nook and cranny. It even introduced us to Mario's underused but legendary nemesis, Wario. In at 5, Super Mario Land 3, Wario Land. Speaking of Wario, he was so popular that he even hijacked the 3rd game in the Mario Land series. This entry tweaked the formula slightly and made it less about speed and agility, and just more about brute strength. Playing as the bad guy here gave early Rebellion vibes. We're talking serious thrills for a 7-year-old. In at 4, Kirby's Dream Land. Kirby's Dream Land took us just there, a land that could be only considered dreamlike. This great, albeit short, little platformer had you wielding the ability to fly and hell, even inhale enemies. It might look like a soft touch, but the murderous tree trunk was nothing short of nightmare fuel. In at 3, Turtles Fall of the Foot Clan. Turtles was a major franchise in the 90s, so we all knew their video game was gonna be goated. Hell, it spawned 2 sequels, but it was the original release that really set the standard. There was something cruelly satisfying about slashing enemies only to see them explode on impact. In at 2, Donkey Kong. After playing DK Country on the SNES, we all knew what to expect from its GB incarnation, but what we got was something entirely different. One could think this puzzle-based game could be a damp squid, but its complexity and creativity made it nothing short of a classic. This game was so popular that the format has gone on to see releases on systems as recent as the Switch. And now, my number 1 Game Boy game, Super Mario Land. Super Mario Land was a release title on the system, and along with Tetris, you could find it in any given cart collection. It may have basic graphics in comparison to later releases, but SML perfected its gameplay early doors. Slick and fast platforming action that could switch it up at a moment's notice. A soundtrack with more bop than a Bop It factory. Super Mario Land truly showed, from the get-go, what this little system was truly capable of. So that's it. That's your lot. My top 10 Game Boy games. Now, I know what you're thinking. Super Mario Land 2 is better than 1. Where is Tetris and Pokemon? I didn't play a lot of Tetris. I was a simple, superficial kid who would prefer to play a terrible port of Mortal Kombat 3, purely because MK was rad. And Pokemon just never took my interest. As for 1/2, there's something about that stripped-back visual style. It was simple, it was fast, it was Game Boy magic. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what your favourites are in the comments. Take it easy, and we will see you ever so soon.